All right, guys, we've pretty much wrapped up everything that we wanted to do in regards to shaders in the OpenGL in-depth VTMs.
Yep.
But we're going to put this one last video in.
Oh, yeah.
We're just going to have some fun for a few minutes and just talk about some simple things that we can add into our shader to enhance it a bit.
Right, to make it a little bit more interesting.
Just to kind of push you guys out a little bit further into the deep end.
Yep.
So the things we're going to address in this video are how do we add light intensity in? Now that we are responsible for handling all of our lights internally inside the shader itself, how can we add a light color parameter? How can we make the light pulsate so that it's animated? How can we make the texture move and swirl around, perhaps?
Yeah.
And then finally, we saw that basically we have a Vertex program and a fragment program, right?
Right.
We want to take the vertices and do something with them. Let's actually change the geometry. We haven't done that.
No.
So that gives us a few things to take a look at. So let's go ahead, and we're starting out right here with our Fong material that we wrote. Well, this was right before the bump mapping lesson.
Right.
So what we're going to do is start out with light intensity. Joel, I would like to be able to control the intensity of the light now.
All right. So let's go ahead and add a new variable, a simple float, and we'll call this guy light intensity. So back in our shader editor, actually let me minimize this so that we can look at it and write code at the same time. So in my fragment program, let me go ahead and add another global variable here, and I'll just call this guy light intensity. And then it's very easy. Over in the diffuse color here, we can also multiply this by light intensity. So simply take whatever we have, the fn.l, which is what we're getting for this shading here, multiply that by the light intensity, and booyah, there we have our thing.
That's going to brighten up our pixels.
Yep. So let me go ahead and save that out. Notice it suddenly darkened up a lot, and that's because our light intensity is defaulted to 0. So if I come up and brighten this up, check it out.
Nice.
We can get extremely bright lights in here.
Very cool.
So that works. Actually, let's set this to something logical. Say 0 for a black light, maybe 5.
Okay. And go ahead and open that back up and do a clamp.
Yeah, thank you. So this clamps it.
All right, very cool.
All right, so there's that one thing.
If I wanted to be able to control the light's color.
Okay, we can add in a custom variable here, color, and then we'll just call this light color. And again, come in here and simply multiply this by the light color. First, however, we need to gain access to this. That's a vec4, and this is going to be our light color. And this is getting to be a lot of extra things multiplied by multiplied. So
simplify just a little bit.
Yeah, so let's come in here and say vec4 light value. I can type, equals, and then just this entire thing, put that here, and this will be light value. And then we'll multiply by the light color as well. Cool. All right, so let me compile that real quick. So our light is white color right now.
So let's change it. Look at that.
We can change it to anything we want. Pretty snazzy.
Very cool. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, let's introduce them to time.
All right.
Make the light pulsate.
That's cool. Let's go into the past 0. Right-click on this, add variable, float, predefine. Check it out. We have all sorts of different time. We can have cosine time, which pulsates automatically. We have f times 0, 1, yada, yada. All sorts of different things that we can add in here. I'm just going to go ahead and add a f times 0 x, which is going to increase in time. So let me go ahead and recompile this entire thing. And let me go over to here and simply start adding into that. So multiply this light color by my time. So simply do multiply, and again modifying this guy here. So sine, and I'll call this my time. And add this to 2, because remember, sine goes between -1 and 1.
Plus, we can't forget to make my time available to us. Let's go ahead and do the uniform.
Yeah, good idea.
Up above.
So here, make this my time. And remember to change this over to my time.
Yeah, perfect.
And now let's compile that. And sometimes you need to kind of coerce this into starting the time here. So let me just go over to here.
Add in another...
There it goes.
There you go. Good enough.
Just moving it around sometimes starts it. So there we go. Starting the timer. Now it's actually pulsating.
Ooh. So now let's just keep it from getting super bright.
So we can clamp it if we wanted to. What was your thought?
Just so it doesn't get so bright
Okay.
it's blown out.
Well, we can divide by 2 here,
Okay.
and then that will make it go from 0 to 1. Or, 0 to 1.
Okay.
There we go.
Cool. Yeah, very nice. All right, so now we've seen how to do that. Let's see, what else? Moving the texture. Let's have let's make the texture swirl around. Just have it continuously go round, 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 round.
All right, well, we have this my time, which is a simple float. If we add 2 texture coordinate, simply add my time. Check this out. What we're going to get is it just kind of swirling constantly around.
But what if we wanted to be able to control the speed in which it was swirling around?
Well, we can multiply by, let's say we multiply by 0.1. You'll see that it slows down.
Very cool. But, of course, we'd want an artist to be able to tweak this.
Definitely. So let's come in here, add a variable, float, and we can say this move speed. And let's give this a default value real quick here. And then we gain access to that. So float, move speed. And then right here, we simply change this over to move speed. Run this here. And watch this. As I come in, not there. Move speed. Come and start changing this really, really fast, extremely fast, or really slow. Actually, let me change the light intensity back up again so we can actually see what's going on. Oh, and I change this to 1. So bring this back up to 1. So there we have our original light.
There we go. Nice. Very cool. Okay, I guess just one more thing for them. The vertices. We've talked about having the vertex shader and having the fragment shader. How can we use the vertex shader to actually manipulate the CVs, or vertices, CVs? Whoops.
Well, this is actually really easy, too. We've been using GL Vertex a lot. Now let's actually modify it, and we can do that. It's not just a read-only value. So we can do a GL Vertex. Let's just change, let's say, the Y value. And this can equal GL Vertex. We'll just pulsate it up and down with my time. So my time, like so. Now, if we do it this way, GeoVertex, Vertex.
Well, you're in the Vertex program. Did you make time available?
Thank you. So let me come in here and just change this over to have my time. Float. And now it is pulsating back and forth. You can see it ever so slightly. One thing we need to do is increase the speed of it. But the other thing is, this is going to be the same for every single one. You notice the whole object is moving up and down. Mm-hmm. And the reason for this is my time is driving every single vertex.
That's right.
So we need to kind of offset this a little bit.
Well, actually, before even... is there a way to make it appear... I can see it real slow. Mm-hmm. Let's amplify the effect now.
All right, we can multiply this... Or you mean...
Yeah,
make it faster, or
actually move more.
This makes it faster.
That's good enough, actually.
Okay. And then we can kind of offset this. So we can pass it the current vertex position just to kind of offset the way it works. And check it out. Mm-hmm. The whole surface is now vibrating like crazy. And we can even add another variable in here to kind of control how this moves. So, vibrate speed, maybe?
Okay.
And then let's get access to that. So come in here, call this vibrate speed. So now you can see it's pulsating extremely slowly because it's 0. Now it's pulsating really slowly.
How about a vibrate amount?
Okay. So, a vibrate amount as well.
Yeah, so you can control just how much.
We can come in here and we can call this vibrate amount. Again, get access to this guy, so vibrate amount. And on the outside here, simply multiply by how much we want to vibrate, so vibrate amount. And again, this is going to be 0 at first. Come in here. Look at that.
Cool.
So the entire thing is vibrating.
If you change that over to a plane, how would that look?
Sure. Let's go into model, change the model over to a plane, looking for a second.
Yeah,
here.
anything that looks like a plane in there.
I know there's one
align quad.
Oh, where was that?
Up a little bit, down a little bit, right? Just about 5 more down.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
Oh, check it out.
Wow.
So this entire thing is moving up and down.
That's cool.
Very, very cool. Let me actually switch this back real quick here.
To a car. Up a few, just for the heck of it. If we can... There it is.
There it is. Oh, check it out.
Melting effect.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, it is.
Another thing I want to do before we kind of wrap this video up is these don't have access. The artist doesn't have access to these variables yet, and that's kind of the final step when you create your shader, is to give the artist access to these. So let's go ahead and select all of these. Oh, apparently we have to do these manually, so just make these available to the artist. And these are all available. So now I can switch over to here, and now the artist can simply come in here or click the artist tab here and just start playing with things. You can change the light intensity. We have it capped at the moment. Specular power.
Yeah, we've actually got quite a bit of control starting to come in.
How fast the texture moves. You notice we can have negative values as well, so it moves backwards or forwards. How fast it vibrates.
You can already see, hopefully, where we could spend probably 20, 30 more minutes and start to come up with an interesting liquid.
Yeah, definitely. The position of the light, of course. Get a nice highlight on the side here.
Mm-hmm.
Change the diffuse color around.
A nice subtle feel.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah, very nice.
Awesome.
Okay, so guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for all of the shader development. Again, the idea of this VTM is to really introduce you to OpenGL and get you in the mood for developing graphical applications. But we felt it was pretty important that we took a minute, and well, several minutes, and talked about custom shaders and showed you how to create your own and implement them in your custom applications.
Right.
And I think we've done a pretty good job at giving you guys at least some sort of foundation to start further research and developing more complex shaders. Because, as you can tell, this can quickly become extremely complex with the mathematics, with the amount of code required, etc., especially when you start dealing with multiple lights and how the lights are going to interact. I mean, even the fact of, creating a spotlight or something like that. There's a lot of things to consider.
Or even doing something, a post-process effect, like blurring the entire scene, like the depth of field one we have, where you have multiple passes.
Yeah, we didn't even get into doing multiple passes and stuff like that. But still, at least we scratched the surface and gave you guys a good starting point. There's a book out there also that you may be interested in checking out called Shader X Cubed, Advanced Rendering with DirectX and OpenGL. Found this to be a pretty interesting book.
Their entire series is actually really good, Shader X Squared or whatever. So yeah, check out that book if you are interested in it. There's more advanced examples inside of it, but there's a pretty good introduction to GLSL as well if you're interested.
And of course, there's always the internet where you can find tutorials and white papers that you can read on this stuff.
Definitely.
So thank you guys very much for joining us with the Shader VTMs, and that's going to wrap this portion of the OpenGL series up.